Hey, 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 what's up? Thank you for spending another Sunday night with me. Happy Father's Day to anybody who is a father, and just welcome to the Draw Stream. Thanks for spending some time with me. Every Sunday night, I'm trying to create a rhythm of doing a draw stream, and you got lucky enough to hit the jackpot. No, I'm kidding. I don't even know what to say. So, if you ever tried doing a YouTube channel, it's different when the mic turns on and you go live and you're like, who is going to be listening to me? So I'm just glad that you're here, and just welcome. If you don't know, my name is James Nguyen. I am the creator of Alpha Red. Alpha Red is a comic that I describe as Peter Parker as Captain America on a James Bond adventure. If you're interested in that concept, please check out alpharedcomic.com. Pre-order the final issue of the 5-story origin of Alpha Red. Again, that's www.alpharedcomic.com. And we're just going to jump right in. I'm going to switch you over. So, Father's Day, right? I got 3 kids, and they each sent me, well, they each gifted me some different things. And then my wife also gifted me, even though I'm not her father, but she feels the need to give me a gift. She gave me 3 beautiful children, and she helped raise them to be fantastic human beings. So I'm super thankful. But my kids got me stuff, and one of the gifts from my kids was my youngest helped me with the technology, and I really hope that things are working out. I'm supposed to be getting some feedback, but as per whatever, my helper from the other room is not really helping me right now. I have not heard from her, but we're just gonna pretend like it's going okay. So if you're out there and you're watching on this Father's Day draw stream, I want to ask you to please let me know. Is the audio okay? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Remember those commercials, the Verizon commercial? Can you hear me now? But we're just going to jump right into some of the stuff. So one of the gifts, good technology. Did it work? I feel pretty confident that you can hear me, and we're going to start off different than every other draw stream that I've done with really good technology, and it's all working. So I'm going to move this microphone. I have a microphone right in front of me. It's black. I wear a black shirt. Well, everything is fine. I was waiting for you to tell Oliver. Okay. So it sounds like everything's working, but that doesn't always mean it's going to keep working, because every time I switch camera angles, that's a whole nother setup. So so I'm switching, and I'm gonna walk this microphone over to this over here and put it in place. Now, as you can see, there are some different graphics. If you've joined me before, there were black backgrounds and whatnot. So, but my youngest helped me redo the background. He said, "Dad, that's kind of boring." So we worked on Photoshop stuff. We blurred one of the panels from issue number 3, and there you have that background. So I'm going to show you some other gifts that my kids got me. One of my kids got me this handy dandy tape measure, and I said, I already have one. I already have a tape measure. But in truth, he lost it. He took it, he lost it, so he's replacing it. So I don't know if that's a gift. You know, if you're just replacing stuff, well, we'll just count it as a gift. He did get me some coffee in the morning with a breakfast sandwich. We'll count that in the mix. My daughter, she got me food also, because everybody knows that dads love to eat. So I'm just checking to see if there was any other bad technology, but no news is good news. So everybody knows that dads love food, and my daughter was in Pennsylvania, and she knows that I love barbecue Middlesworth chips. So when I stopped in to visit her, she gave me a bag of Middlesworth potato chips, and she told me that she bought me this. She knows that X-Men are one of my favorites, and so she bought me this huge collection. It's the first 59 issues of X-Men. Didn't even know that this existed, but it's reprinted all 59 issues, including the letters pages, which is kind of cool. I can't wait to kind of dive in and see how people reacted to the mutants way back when. But the beginning is, the story of the X-Men, how it gets created. So that's pretty awesome. Other stuff. This is Alpha Red number 5, and it is ready for pre-order over on the Starcross Comics website. Just go to alpharedcomic.com. You'll be able to pre-order it, and it will be shipped out the last week of June. So you don't have to wait. You can order all 5. So all 5 will be available there on Starcross. So I hope you check it out if you haven't already. If you've already checked it out, tell a friend. Tell a friend how much you like Alpha Red. This next picture is a commission that I finished the inks for. I am working on the digital colors for it. This character is Atradian Justice by Raphael. I forget your last name. As soon as you put a mic in front of me, the memory just starts going. So I apologize, Raphael. But this was a fun character to draw, and I'm excited to get the colors on this. Another thing that I'm working on just for fun is Starstruck. This is also a Starcross Comics character. He's in a comic book called G.O.D., and he's the main character. His name is Starstruck. But this is the guy that you've been waiting for. This is the Spawn cover that I inked last week. We're gonna jump in and color it today, and hopefully we can just buzz right through, because I'm hoping that we can maybe get to some inks on this new Scarlet sketch cover that I started this week. Picked up the Scarlet. I'm really into the Energon universe. They've done a really good job with the Transformers and G.I. Joe. This one's probably the least favorite I have. It just kind of changes some backstory of the characters in a way that I don't think is consistent with the cartoon. I don't know much about the comic book versions of G.I. Joe, but I didn't know that Scarlet was a ninja and spoke Japanese and could beat up Storm Shadow ninja people. So I am hoping that we can ink that up, but the man of the hour is our Spawn. So we are going to move him over to the light, the good light. Right now, it's usually underneath my desk, but my son insists that I should not put it underneath the table and pull it out. So I set it to the side. I don't know if that'll work out better. We shall see. And it is a little bit trickier to just move it from the side, actually. So, whoop. He was working on a different angle also for the camera. So let's see if all goes well today. Let me move some things around here. It's all trickety. And watch this, guys. We did a new angle. He helped me out here with a new angle. Boom. See? Now I'm looking at you over here. Hey. So the thing is not in my face. I mean, it is in my face, but because I'm using a different camera, the angle is slightly different, and hopefully this means that you can see better. I know I can see better, whereas the last camera position was really in my face. Like I couldn't. Let me adjust this. He did it so that I can make some pretty smooth adjustments if things aren't exactly perfect. That looks pretty good. If it's not good, you tell me. Okay? So, let me see. I was going to give you an update on Alpha Red number 6, but I don't have the things handy. I have the cover handy, but nothing's changed since last week. So, the last Father's Day gift I got was from my beautiful wife, and she heard my cries about when I color, and she went out and bought me this set of markers. Look at this bad boy. That's right, I'm shoving it underneath the thing. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. But yeah, it is apparently a highly rated brand on Amazon, and she went out and spent her own money. She promises me, sorry for that if that was super loud. She promises me that she spent her own money and not my money. She is a stay-at-home mom, but she does have a part-time gig, and it doesn't make a whole lot of money, but I am honored that she spent that money buying me a gift. That was super duper nice. Thank you, honey. All right, so we're just gonna jump in, and I'm very anxious to try out these new colors, and I hope that they are juicy. I don't know how else to say it, because nothing worse than dry markers. And since I just opened them up, I haven't even tried any of these markers yet, which is probably a bad thing before you jump on a draw stream, to never have used these tools before, but here I am. So I know that his hands are going to be red, his gloves are red, but because this is like an energy, this is a deep color. Maybe I don't want something so deep so soon. Maybe I want something a little bit brighter. I thought this was brighter. Maybe it'll dry brighter. Don't do this at home, guys. Like, test these out first. Don't do like me and jump on a live stream. There we go. That's the color that I was anticipating. That's the color I was anticipating. Something much lighter. I don't know if you guys can tell the difference here, but one's more of a golden color, and I was just looking for a yellow, something that's kind of more on the traditional yellow side. But yeah, I went to a comic convention here on Saturday. That was just yesterday, and to be honest, I didn't know that I was a part of it. I was asked if I was interested a few weeks ago, and I said, sure, give me some details. and the details were not forthcoming. Sometimes that happens. Life happens, and these promoters are also human, and it is largely their side hustle. Everybody has a comic book side hustle. There's not a whole lot of money in comics unless you're somebody already famous. And so he got back to me on Friday afternoon. He said, "Hey, you can set up at such and such a time." And I was like, whoa. But thankfully, I am prepared. I was prepared. I was preparing anyway for the Hershey Comic Book Con, comic convention, where I will be in 2 weeks. That will be June 29th and 30th. And it's right off of 81. I think it's the Grantville exit. So check that out. I would love to see you there. If you see me in person, check this cool thing out here. You get one of these trading cards. I give them to you. I hand them to you for free. Isn't that cool? If you want one, pretty much for free, you gotta send $1 to my PayPal, and I will mail a trading card to you if you are interested. So I'm gonna use that yellow to really kind of accent that first yellow, to accent the lighter yellow. See, it does dry a little bit darker. See that up there? Okay. Maybe I should have stuck with that. Too late now. Live and learn. Live and learn. So I was able to go to this comic book convention yesterday, and I did hear some questions about some artists. They didn't come up and talk to me, ask me. Excuse me. They didn't ask me about how one would get a table at a small show like that, because they're artists and they're new to the art game. And so they asked a neighbor artist next to me, how does one get a table at one of these comic book shows? And the answer is sometimes you reach out. It's like anything else. It's many different ways. And so sometimes you reach out, you hear about a convention, you call them up, make sure that you have some kind of online presence, because they're going to ask you to see some of your work, because they need to make money. These promoters of these comic conventions need to make money too, so they're filling their space with people who would benefit their convention. People want to see good artists. Well, they want to buy some cheap comics too. Cheap comics and super expensive comics. If you want some brand new comics, just go to your local comic book store. And if you are in the central New York area, I go to Funky Town Comics and Vinyls in Camillus. So, but if you are wherever and you want more periodical comics that are not super expensive, like new, just came on the market kind of comics, you go to a comic book store. But if you go to a comic book show, typically people who are going there are looking for cheap comics. The Dollar Bin is a super popular thing at a comic convention. I know I sifted through probably 4 or 5 vendors who had dollar comics, and I came home with 4 comics, $3 comics, and then a trade paperback that I bought that was $8. But let me think about what I want to do here. So that just shows the energy, right? So his hand down here, hopefully I'm using the space to the maximum capacity here. But his hand, his whole wrist here is red. The spikes that come out here are like bone colored, so we'll have to figure that out. And then he's got armbands that are red. His suit, when it first came out, like if I flip through here, it should still be blue. It's blue and red and white, right? But see how it's blue? But as the years have gone on and the coloring, the printers have gotten better and the colorists have had more options, they have gone to more of a grayish color for Spawn's suit. So all this blue stuff that you see here, this looks gray, maybe in the camera, but it's really, like, I remember it a lot more blue, more like a even brighter blue than this. Maybe the paper has changed where it looks more grayish blue, but yeah. But now that Spawn is in the 300s, 350s, it's more of a gray. So that's what you'll see me do today. So I just want to think about his hands right now. So, boy, maybe a complaint I have about this brand already is that same with the Copics. You can't slap this on the back side. You gotta hold it in your hand. I'm not a fan of that. So let's see what that looks like. So it looks mostly orange. So I'm okay with that. That's a base color for parts of the costume that are red. So I'm just going to go in here and make sure that I'm not coloring anything but his gloves and his forearm gauntlet thing. Alright. So separating those colors out so that I'm not coloring the wrong thing later. If you do too much, you might get in trouble coloring the wrong thing. And whiteout is not super, it's fine in a pinch, but if you color something completely wrong, yikes, to go back and recolor the original, like on these sketch covers, it's brutal because it adds a layer to the artwork, and the whiteout is just not the same texture as the paper underneath, so it never looks exactly right. It reacts different. The marker reacts different to the layer. So if you're joining me after Father's Day, still, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. I had a great Father's Day, by the way. Thanks for asking. Thanks for asking. Is this working out, this camera over on the side? I'm not used to you seeing my profile. So, and I do have like another screen over here, so I'm looking over here. I can kind of see myself and what you see. So it's just funny. It's funny when you put yourself on YouTube. You're like, do I look like that? Is this what people have to put up with when they look at me? So I'm just going in, and I am I think this is red down here. I think it's ribs and stuff down on the other side of this is red, but thankfully I have reference right in here, and I love looking at this double page spread. Look at this, guys. Tell me that was like when I was a teenager, that was like a masterpiece. That was a masterpiece. Hey, what's going on? The ninth art with Javinci. Is this JV? Is this Jay? Brother man? Is this Brother J V? Mr. Silver Surfer fan himself? I appreciate you spending this Sunday night with me as I talk a little bit about Father's Day, a little bit about the Todd father himself, Todd McFarlane, and his impact on my comic book collecting obsession, which not so much an obsession anymore. Actually, it's kind of creeping back, I must admit. I get pretty excited about some of the comics that I get excited about, you know. Like, it doesn't always make sense what I get excited about, but it's cool to get excited about this stuff again. So I appreciate you joining me. I was talking to somebody at the comic convention that I was just at yesterday, and I was wearing a shirt for Alpha Red. And if you're not familiar with Alpha Red, that's my character. If you just stumbled upon the channel and you see a guy drawing Spawn, coloring Spawn, I've created my own character called Alpha Red, and I have homage covers for all 5 of my issues of Alpha Red, and 3 of them are Todd McFarlane Spider-Man homage covers, and one of them I turned into a t-shirt that I wear at conventions. And so it's an homage image of Amazing Spider-Man number 300, where Spider-Man is kind of jumping through that circle and shooting out webs or whatever. So as I was having a conversation with one of the dealers, he asked if Todd McFarlane had a big influence on my artwork. And I said, not really. And I was pretty happy with how I articulated why that is, because you would think that for Todd McFarlane, he's just kind of known for a lot of his Spider-Man stuff, even though if you think about it, he was only on Spider-Man for like 3 or 4 years, and he's been doing Spawn for like 30 years. And I still think of him as one of the best Spider-Man artists. And not that I'm not a fan of Spawn, but I'm certainly more of a fan of Spider-Man and his run on Spider-Man and stuff. So I said no, I didn't think of Todd McFarlane as an artistic inspiration. And the way that I explained it just was like, it just came out of my mouth. Like, his anatomy was so unique to him because of his priorities of making each picture like the most dynamic it could be at any given time and at any given angle. And so his anatomy was not consistent. So I could not copy his anatomy. I could not be so inspired by his anatomy that I could take what I saw him draw and then kind of extrapolate it into a different pose or different angle. So that's why I was drawn to Jim Lee, because his anatomy was consistent. You know, it was more like John Byrne. It was more it just made sense to me. And I had never thought of it that way until somebody asked me if Todd McFarlane influenced my artwork. Not that I didn't try to draw Spider-Man the way that Todd McFarlane drew Spider-Man, but it only looked cool if I drew it exactly like the Spider-Man picture that I was looking at, because that was just his style. His style was just so unique, and you just had to do it his way, or it just did not look as cool, not as dynamic. I gotta get better at reading these unique YouTube names. So the nth art with Javinci. So can I call you Javinci? Is that cool? If you're here, I'd love to hear. If I assume that you're an artist, so I'd love to hear if Todd McFarlane influenced your artwork. Do you have your own comic? Feel free to drop a link in the chat. Feel free. I'm not, I'm here to support independent creators because I got so much support. I got to tell you, yesterday, lots of support from not only new fans, local people, but other creators are just so supportive because we all know how hard this is, this grind, and we are just obsessed with creating these comic books. Yes, greetings to that, yeah. So I am happy to promote your artwork and your comic here on the channel if you want to drop that in the chat. I'm not so savvy that I can jump to your website. I tried to do that once and it was practically shut me down. So I can't promise that I can jump over to your site, but his name is a play on the name Da Vinci. Yep, I got that. I dig it. All right, let's do the green. Let's jump over on the green. I really dig new markers. Gosh, they're just kind of oozing out of here, nice and juicy. Not like my set that is kind of hodgepodge together from years and years of Father's Day gifts and Christmas and birthdays, and my kids are very they know that Daddy likes to draw, but they don't always have the money for the best supplies. So I've got a hodgepodge of mixed tools. Hey, thank you, Lop. Thank you for the happy Father's Day wishes. I don't know if you're a father, but happy Father's Day to you if you are. If you are a father. So, yeah, these markers are very, so far so good. These are Arteza. I don't know if you guys are looking to try them out. I don't know how long they'll last, but I just got these as a Father's Day gift, and just in time to do this draw stream to color our man Spawn, and it is doing a bang up job, I gotta say. Thank you, Javinci. I gotta learn how to say that better. Javinci. I think it sounds more fun if I do it with an Italian accent. What do you think? Javinci. Is that how you say it? It'd be funny if you walked around. Hey, call me Javinci, huh? The ninth art. Javinci. My friends call me Javinci. I like that. All right, let's do, I don't know, what do you guys think so far? It's coming together pretty fast. I dig it. I dig it. Brush markers and acrylic paints. My girls got for me for Father's Day. That's awesome. Yeah, I sometimes I like the brush markers. Sometimes I they frustrate me because the nibs they're not as controlled, and I know that that is the fun of the brush. But I've got mixed opinions about that, about control or not control. You know, obviously the randomness of the brush adds a different dimension to it that looks more organic and natural. So that's definitely a plus if you know how to use it. But sometimes if you're not open to that, you know, that brush squeezes a little bit fat, and you're like, oh no, that was meant to just be real subtle, and it wasn't subtle. It was a big fat piece of color there, and you're like, oh yeah. Yeah, it's a funny mouthful way to pronounce my. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys know. There's a little bit of a delay from like me doing it, and then it showing up, and then you typing. So I apologize if it's a noticeable delay and it gets annoying. I don't know how to like eliminate a delay. I don't know what the advantage is of a delay with the chat, and I don't know. I'm new to all this live streaming stuff, so. But yeah. So, does anybody have any cool stories about McFarlane? How he inspired you, or do you not know who McFarlane is? Do you not know who Spawn is? Like everybody that I kind of run into seems to be very aware of like Image and all those guys and what was going on in the early '90s with Todd McFarlane and Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee and stuff. And so we were all kind of influenced by that. So I make some assumptions, and then I run into some younger fans, and they're like, yeah, I don't know who those people are. So I get it. I get that they've been around for many, many years, and they're turning into like the Kirbys and the George Perez's of way back yonder. I don't even know those Golden Age artists that my favorite artists were inspired by. So that's what it feels like when I'm talking to new fans about Jim Lee, about Rob Liefeld, about Todd McFarlane. They're like, I don't really know who that is. It like blows my mind because they were it when I started comics. Wow, Father's Day with markers, yeah. No, my family. I'm a hard guy to shop for sure. I am, I have my own job, so I just go out and buy whatever I want. So my wife says, why? What do you want? You have to tell us what you want. I was like, I don't know what I want, because whenever I want it, I just get it. So, all right, that's a little darker than I thought. I'm hoping that it doesn't dry as dark as I think it does. It will. So my family knows that I like to eat. So eating is food is a big part of Father's Day. And I don't always like to eat food that's good for me. My wife is a little bit more health conscious than me. And I am very thankful, because I would be very much heavier and very much less healthy if I wasn't married. So Um, so I don't typically eat breakfast, but my son this morning went and bought me, along with the coffee, he bought me a breakfast sandwich. It was absolutely delicious. Yeah, let's see. It says, Todd's webbing is still my favorite and my go-to style when drawing. Absolutely, man. He started doing the little knots around the different whatevers, and you're like, well, now everybody has to do that. Thanks, Todd. But it is a way to kind of add a three-dimensional feel to it, right? Because otherwise it's just like, it's kind of boring. It's kind of boring without it. It definitely gives you the ability to create some depth. It's no, that's darker even. Let's go a little bit lighter and see if I can do. Yeah. Okay, that's not so bad, right? Right. And this would be like underneath this thing here, so those white things are going to be kind of grayer down here, and we'll use this as the shadow for that, and kind of leave that open so it looks like light is shining down on that. And chains, boy, I hate chains. If Todd McFarlane called and offered me a job, I don't know if I'd say yes, based on the chains here. I'd have to hire somebody, an underling, to just work on the chains. Yeah, I used to have all those videos. I don't know if you guys would watch those videos from Staber, where it was Jim Lee. Stan Lee would sit there with Jim Lee, and Jim Lee went through like who his influences were, and then he ended up drawing, drawing stuff like right on camera, and I was like, yes, this is awesome. Let's see how dark this is. Okay, all right, this is dark enough. I don't think this is too dark. But the one, it was McFarlane had his own, but he also did one with Rob Liefeld. And then they all did one where there was Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, and Will Spertatio. And that was pretty epic. For me, that was like all my favorite guys in there. So and those are all like available on YouTube now for free to watch those things. And I watched the Jim Lee thing over just because Jim Lee was always my favorite, and so good, brings back so many memories. So I don't know if you guys want to share who your influences are as far as who got you into comic books, like what artist, or maybe you got in because of a writer. I think art kind of hooks a lot of people. I mean, I shouldn't say hooks, but the artwork really kind of draws the people in, and then the writing, the stories really hook you. So, I mean, I was just always about the art. It almost didn't matter that some of the stories that I was reading were just kind of garbage. I mean, it made it much easier for me to kind of sell them when we were moving. I sold off all my comics. Because we couldn't move it. They were too heavy, and there was not enough room in the U-Haul, and we were moving states, moving from Pennsylvania to New York 9 years ago. And she's like, they can't come with us. My wife, she's like, those comics aren't coming with us. I was like, no, you hate me. shouldn't say that, but it's what I was feeling. And I sold them for a song and a dance, honestly. And I did keep about 3 short boxes of my favorite stuff. And it was all like Jim Lee stuff. It was my Spider-Man #1, Todd McFarlane Spider-Man #1. So, man, this is quick. It's going quick because of these awesome markers. I gotta say, these are impressive. I like them. I like them. I don't know how long they'll last, but I would recommend them. Guys, if you're looking for, I don't know what they cost actually, but I know that my wife would probably not spend too much money on artwork for me, mostly because she doesn't have a lot of her own money, and she wanted to use her own money to buy me a gift this year. So just based on her budget, just because I know how much she makes from her part-time thing, that it could not have been super duper expensive. So I'm gonna do some bone colored stuff. Actually, this is what that would be, a spike. That would be metal. So give it a little reflection thing here, but I believe those are more bone. Let's see. I like that. I like the little reflection thing as I go through here. I don't know if that makes a difference. I don't know if that's worth my time here. It's the return on investment with this, with the little shadow on the bottom. I'm just gonna stick with it because it doesn't take too long. So if you guys are working on a comic, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to. Feel free to promote it here in the chat. So I started Alpha Red in 2013. So it's just I started it in 2011. Switched gears, switched directions for it in 2012, and it came out in 2013 as the new version of Alpha Red #1. And so it took me 10 years to get all the way to the end of the origin story. So don't feel bad if you're plugging along. I just couldn't stop. Like I felt like I wasn't allowed to stop. Like the story just wanted to be told. And so I stuck with it. And now I am super proud that the full origin story is out. And now I'm in a season in life where my kids are a little older, and I can kind of go back to the things that made me happy, that I sacrificed while the kids were younger. And so I'm working on issue number 6 of Alpha Red, and I'm having so much fun. And YouTube is here, so you can do some free promotions and stuff. See, that's awesome, love. Thank you so much. I do remember you way back when. So thank you for sticking with me. Yeah. But yeah, I stuck with it. And now I'm just having so much fun. And I don't know if I could have had this much fun back if I had more time for it, or made the sacrifices that went against my family and pro comic book art chasing dream thing, which I was for a long time I was willing to do. I made some bad decisions when my kids were young, and I was trying to break into comic books. I had quit my job for 3 months to try to break into the comic book industry. I was like, if I had the time to just sit there and draw and mail out submissions, I will surely get rewarded for that tenacity and that hard work. And it turned out to be a bust. It turned out to be a bust for sure. So, all right. I think that's gonna do it for this guy. So as far as the colors, I'll probably still jump back in. I like to noodle with it a little bit, but for the rest of the hour, if you guys are gonna hang out with me, I'd like to do some inks on the Scarlet. So what do you think? Is this done? Is it not done? If you've got some suggestions, how to punch it up a little bit more. Should I go deeper with the red? I don't want to get too red because it does look orangey right now, but I don't want to. I don't think I get the return on investment here if I went too deep with the reds here. Thank you, Raph. Thanks for hanging out here, bud. Thanks for jumping in. And you guys tell me, is this done? Oh, I like that. I do like this feels like a blood red or something. I did punch it up a little bit. I did like that. Yeah, maybe I'll stick with this for another couple minutes. Only got another about 8 minutes for the draw stream. I like to keep it from 8 to 9, but I'm super glad that you guys hung out with me. But I do like to fill up the time. I don't like to stop early because I have a lot of fun drawing. And Raph, you missed it. I was showing off Atradian Justice at the beginning, so you'll have to check that out. I do like that extra red really punched it up. All right, let's spend a little bit of time on some inks for this Scarlet. So if you missed the beginning, I like what's going on with this the Energon universe. I don't know if you guys are following that, but this was probably, I don't know, it's not the greatest comic. Not that it wasn't well drawn, like it's a well drawn comic, you know, for the most part. The storytelling is really good, but it really, I don't know, it doesn't feel like the character from the comic from the cartoon. It feels like there's another girl that they're using her name. And let's see what I want here. I'm gonna do the number 2, right? Because I'm gonna do her face. I always start off with the face. Actually, I always start off with the eyebrows. And because that's really the most important part, especially when you're drawing a girl. Boy, if you don't get her eyes right, her face right, like, why bother? I hate saying that, but I don't like unattractively drawn women in comics, you know. So you got to make sure that you're drawing pretty girls if you want guys to pick up your comic book. And I was talking to some inkers this weekend. I was sitting right next to Mark Sinnott, who's the son of Joe Sinnott, who was a Golden Age inker, if you're not familiar. And we're just talking about how important an inker is, especially back in the day when it was understood that the penciler was really the guy who was just kind of storyboarding. And of course that's important, but he laid down the anatomy, but the finished product was very hugely affected by what inker you had, and how adept the inker was as an artist, and they were definitely artists. So they kind of went back and forth as far as like how tight the pencils were, and how much the inker adjusted things for the penciler. I forgot we were in different time zones. Well, happy Father's Day to you, Raph. I thank you for showing up. Better late than never. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Boy, where are all my medium sized? Whoops. Whoa. Still got 4 minutes, guys. Hang with me, because I probably won't get back to this drawing. If I don't do it now, it'll be like another 2 or 3 weeks until I get back to her. And I just liked how the sketch turned out, how I tightened it up. And so when things kind of turn out the way you picture them, you want to take it as far as you can while you're in the zone. You're in the zone. So this pen is different. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is a Pilot Precision V5. There's a V7 too. It's a rolling ball thing, and it's definitely more of a writing utensil. But I grew up not having an art store near me, so I would bike up to the drugstore and they would have these pens, and so my brother and I learned how to ink using these Precise V5 rolling Pilot things, and I forgot how much I missed them. I found a pack that he gave me a couple of years ago. I found it in my art supplies, and I started using it, and it just brought back all kinds of memories of how the lines kind of lay out. Now it's dangerous because it doesn't dry very quickly, so if you're not careful, it will land on your hand, and then you end up smearing it, and that's bad news. But if you know what you're doing, like you can get kind of some line weights and stuff going, and I don't know, it just feels right when you go back to trusted art tools. So there's only 2 minutes left, guys, and I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on this Father's Day Sunday evening. I do this every Sunday, and I appreciate the conversation for anybody who drops in. And I hope that I inspire you to pick up a pencil or a pen or a new set of markers, brush pen markers, and create something cool and fun. All right, guys. Well, again, I want to thank you. Just a couple of things to wrap up. I don't know if you guys would be interested in sketch cards over on my Etsy store. If you go to Etsy and you look up James Q Artist, you can pick up some of these sketch cards that I've been doing. Been having a lot of fun doing them, and they are available at the store, the Etsy store. I watched the X-Men '97, and that kind of inspired a bunch of the new sketch cards. The Superman announcements inspired me also for that. But go over to Etsy if you're interested. James Q Artist over on Etsy. I have a shop over there. I'll be putting more original art up on that. But let me see if I can. But that's it, guys. So if you haven't already, I'd appreciate it if you hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and join me every week, 8 o'clock, Sunday nights. That's Eastern Standard Time, Raph. I appreciate you showing up, and I wish you guys a happy Father's Day, and I'll see you next week. Grace, peace. I'm going to hit the outro.